Everyone, this is Mike, and I've got to tell you something. Either you're going to be humble or make sure your feet are clean. I'll tell you why in a minute. This channel is for people who want to grow, do, and become more, and I am here to support you on your journey to greater. So, if that's you, consider subscribing. Let's get right into it. Being humble, humility is such an important trait, and the unfortunate truth is that many people think it's a losing battle. Like if you take the high road or you take the low road and let people sort of walk right over you, then you're gonna lose in life. Well, I've learned that humility will take you around the world. The truly powerful leaders are also leaders who exercise a great deal of deference and just maturity in knowing when to speak up and when to just let things have their way. A good leader knows how to stand when they need to stand up for rights for the individuals, for the vulnerable, and they also know how and when, perfect phrase, to pick their battles. I once learned that one of the greatest tragedies in life is winning at the wrong thing. So people who are humble know how to choose their battles, and they know how to win where it counts and where it really matters. Not winning for the sake of proving your ego over other people or your status at the expense of another person's status or self-esteem. So you have to make sure you're either humble, or if you're not humble, keep your feet clean. Why? Because when you're not humble, you will end up putting your foot in your mouth. And yes, for some of you, that might be a delicious meal. For some of you, you wouldn't even imagine or think of putting your own feet in your own mouth. But think of that analogy or that illustration whenever you consider the worst case scenario for an individual who operates in pride, because what you reap, you will sow. If you reap humility, if you sow, excuse me, what you sow, you reap. If you sow humility, you will receive grace and mercy and humility from other people. And if you sow pride, and you let everyone know, hey, I'm the big honcho, and this is my show, even though I was invited, this is my show, then eventually there will be a force, if you will, perhaps in one individual or maybe the collective group of people who are observing your larger than life personality. And the force will be, hey, we've got to level the playing field. We've got to bring this guy down a couple of notches. And no one would say that, to your face, or some people might, depending on how bold they are. But when you operate in that way, there's just this desire, this primal instinct, if you will, for people to humble you if you do not have the capacity to humble yourself. And I like to tell this story. One time I was doing work in someone's house. I was making a delivery to someone's house, expensive piece of furniture, and the person didn't have any rugs or anything, and it was just hardwood floor, if you will. And so they said, "Oh, would you mind taking off your shoes and all of this stuff?" And the look was as if I don't want you to taint my floors, my hardwood floors. And I looked at my coworker. I said, well, we don't usually take our shoes off. And for any of you who has anyone coming over for some sort of service or work, the reason why they don't take their shoes off, or they're not told to take their shoes off, is because your house is one thing, the protection of the employer is another thing. So if anything happens, if a screw goes up in their foot, a child's toy injures them on the job, the company's liable. So it's a policy from the company that their work shoes, and some of their shoes are steel toed, so it's for their protection, it's for their safety. So that's the reason why you might get a little flack or objection when you ask people to take their shoes off in your house. But that's another video. Let's stay focused on the point. So we said, hey, we're not allowed to take our shoes off, but if you have any plastic bags, we'll gladly wrap it around our feet to protect your floor. So when we offered that solution, and this is before I found out about booties, not that type of booty, the booties that you put on over your feet that are either made of fabric or plastic, and you just slip them on and off when you're walking in people's houses. So the idea, the suggestion, I was looking for a solution, but it didn't please the individual, and they, in a sense, rolled their eyes and said, "Oh well, I don't like that suggestion, but we'll work with it." So we're doing our job, and then all of a sudden we have to pick up the bed so that we could disassemble it for delivery. And sorry about that. And when we pick up this person's mattress, it was an awakening for myself, my coworker, and this person who obviously didn't treat us with humility out the gate. And so it was as if he wishes the earth would open and it would swallow him up. He felt so embarrassed because under his bed in his fancy home was just dust for days and all kinds of different, disgusting things under there, pet hair mixed with this and that, and he just put his hand, it was a he put his hand over his mouth and he said, "Oh my goodness, I'm so embarrassed. I didn't mean for you to see this, and I can't get to everything. It's just me alone in my house." And boy, how the tables turned, because the two men who didn't seem like they were even worthy to step foot in his house, now he's just apologizing to us like he committed the greatest transgression and he needed our approval before he moved on with his life. So the moral of the story is this: it will surprise you how humbling a humbling experience can be. But if you practice to be humble, if you practice to not always take the lead, the spotlight, the high road, or vanquish your enemies at the expense of preserving your ego and status in life, if you actually defer to giving someone else some time to speak, some time in the spotlight, some time to feel important, to feel appreciated, some time to be heard, and let their opinions get some light, let their opinions have some time in the atmosphere, then if you don't do that, then you will be in for a rude awakening one way or another. So I encourage you, as you fly to the highest star or moon, do it with some humility. Until next time, keep growing, keep doing, and keep on becoming. God bless you.